Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So far we have understood what agents are, explored the different types of agents and taken a complete walkthrough of the autonomous agent experience. But here is the question, how do you actually build one? In this video, we are going to create our very first autonomous agent from scratch. We'll understand the minimum components required, configure the agent, test it, and by the end of this video, you will have a working autonomous agent. Before we jump into the UiPath Studio, let's understand autonomous agent. Think of an autonomous agent as a digital assistant that needs three things. First, it needs a brain, which is the AI model responsible for reasoning and generating responses. Second, it needs an identity, which is defined using the system prompt. This tells the agent who it is and how it should behave. And finally, it needs a task, which is provided through the user prompt. These three components are enough to build a basic autonomous agent. Features like memory, context, and tools make the agent more powerful, and we will cover each of them in the dedicated videos later in the series. Before implementing any feature, I always recommend checking the official UiPath documentation. If you look at the documentation, UiPath explains the building an autonomous agent starts with selecting a model, defining the agent's behavior through system prompt, and then testing it using a user prompt. All those guidelines are documented within UiPath docs so that you can refer before you get into a development. Now we are in the UiPath Studio web where we have created a solution, and within the solution I have created a solution name as a demo agent, and I have two agents created already. So what I'll do is I'll click on add to solution, and from there I'll click on agent and click on apply. So my new autonomous agent will be created. So within that, like, we will have an option to get started with the conversational agent or the coded agent, so that we are going to see in the later of the series. So first we'll start with the autonomous agent. So instead of using the autopilot, for this video we'll go with the start fresh option. So we'll explore the use of autopilot for building of agent later. So I'll click on start fresh. Once I've clicked on the start fresh, then we will have this autonomous agent designer panel will open, where we'll have the canvas and the form view. So first of all, I'll rename this agent. So this is my UiPath assistance agent. And we already have explored about the autonomous agent designer panel. So I'll give a link above. If you haven't watched that video, go and check it out. So the first thing that we have to do is, like, we have to select a model. So from the model, you can see we have multiple models available, started from GPT 4.0 to we have currently GPT 5.4 OpenAI, and that has been suggested by the autonomous agent directly. I have not selected one; it has been given as by default. Then we have different models like the Anthropic Claude, then Gemini. So based on your use case, you need to go with a particular model. So for now, I'm going with the suggested model which has been given directly. Then we have to configure the system prompt, the first thing that we have to do. So today, like, we are going to build a UiPath Learning Assistant agent, which will be giving me answers based on the query I have given as an input to an agent. So in the system prompt, what I'm going to write is, I'm going to write, you are an UiPath Learning Assistant, help users understand UiPath concepts clearly and accurately, keep responses concise, beginner friendly, and based on UiPath best practices. If you don't know something, say so instead of making assumption. So I have given a simple role and the goal to a particular agent. So based on that, it is going to perform a certain action. Now in the user prompt, currently it has like, what is the current date? Instead of that, I'm going to ask a simple question to it. So here in the user prompt, I'm going to make an actual request that user wants to agent to give an answer, right? So I'm going to ask a first question to an agent, that is, explain the difference between the UiPath robot and the autonomous agent. So rest of the settings I have not added yet, like I have not touched the tools, context, escalation, or the memory. I have just gone with the system prompt and the user prompt. So in the later video, like, we'll explore all those additional artifacts which enhances the agent performance, right? So Now I have the system prompt and the user prompt. So what I'll do is I'll simply start with debug. I'll click on debug option. It will start the provisioning all the resources which we have utilized while building our agent. Once the provisioning for the solution is completed, then we'll have the execution trail started. And in the execution, you can see we'll have the agent definition that will be sent out to LLM. And based on that, we'll receive the output. And based on our user prompt, it has given us the output. So if I open the output and expand it, we'll see. So UiPath robot executes a defined automation exactly as designed. So this is the question that we have asked. Like the question was, explain the difference between a robot. We'll navigate to the user prompt. Ask this question. Explain the difference between a UiPath robot and the autonomous agent. So based on that, it has given us the answer. So we'll check with another question that will give in the user prompt. Again, we'll go back to the design mode, go to the form, and here in the user prompt, we'll ask the another question. We'll click on debug. Provisioning has been completed. Now execution trail will get started. So now execution trail has started, and in the definition, you can see other attributes. We have given input as an object, and in the messages, you can see all those information. And this one we have given as a user input, like what should I, when should I use a document understanding, and based on that, we have received an output. So you need to play with the user prompt and the system prompt. So this is the simple prompt that we have given to an agent, and based on that, our agent has been built. So this is the agent definition we have given, and based on that, we are getting the outputs. So once your definition is ready and you have started debugging, you will have execution trail for a current run. Then you have the history where you'll see all the debugs or the execution trail that you have executed. So now we have executed for the two questions, right? So we have two traces, one with the first question, one with the second question, right? And then we have the evaluations. So whatever the debug runs will have, that will be added to a default evaluation set. Once you are happy with the results, you can publish the agent and use it within the UiPath platform. Before we wrap up, here are the 3 best practices to keep in mind. Keep your system prompt focused. A clear role produces better responses than a long generic prompt. Then start simple, build a working agent first, then gradually introduce memory, context, and tools. So now we only have given a specific role. So eventually, if you want to modify this agent, we are going to give the UiPath docs link, then we have the UiPath forum link. So based on that, it is going to get an answer instead of getting it from the Google search. So we'll have those answered focused on the UiPath docs or from the legitimate sources. Then the third best practices we have to keep in mind is like we have to test it often. Use debug after every small change. So whenever you make any changes within your agents, so make sure you test your or debug your agent. So now you have successfully built your first UiPath Autonomous Agent. In the next video, we'll explore one of the most important topics in the agent development, that is system prompt versus user prompt. We'll understand how prompt influence an agent's behavior and learn best practices for writing effective prompts. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.